Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is the 21st day of August, 2018, and we say good morning to you. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan Kuntz, your host. Steve Harrer, our news. Steve's on assignment. Yeah, there's Steve. Never seen him look better. Steve's on assignment. He's going to be running around with one of our top content producers today. Well, Uriah, anyway. Steve and Uriah are going to be out filming some things. I can't really talk about it. It's kind of on the QT, the hush-hush, but if all things work out the way we hope they work out, Steve's going to have a pretty fascinating report in the next couple of days. So Steve is working. He's just not working here. So I'll be handling everything that we normally handle. Grant Olson, our news anchor, will be handling your news. We'll have the latest on the Cougar Creek fire and the new evacuation notices that have been issued for the Plain and Chumstick area. We'll get to that when we get to news. We have sports. Thank you, Robinson Cano. It's good to have you back. He played a major role in last night's critical victory over the Houston Astros. We got sports also. The Seahawks' longtime legendary punter will be punting someplace else this autumn, I'm afraid. We also have the obscure holiday today in history. Birthdays, everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And in the guest segment of the show, the second half of the program, last week, Eric Granstrom had a chance to sit down with Joel Norman, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Apple Sox, to talk about the season as a whole for the Apple Sox. Not bad. They got real good, just a little too late to make the playoffs. So we'll wrap up the Apple Sox season with Eric's conversation with Joel Norman. That'll be in the second half of the show. If you look over my shoulder, you'll notice that we can actually see a little bit more of the Wenatchee Valley than we have been able to for the last couple of days. And we got some good news. Relief is in sight. If all of the weather models that they're looking at come together the way they hope they will, it looks like we're going to finally scour out the skies by Thursday night and Friday. Those critical weather details are coming up. First, let's take you around north central Washington with our Valley View cameras. And once again, you can see a lot more than you could yesterday at this time. Yesterday, the air was hazardous. Today, for the Wenatchee Valley, it's unhealthy, which is better than hazardous. You can actually almost see the WUWV-2018-08-21 Bridge. We couldn't do that yesterday. In fact, we couldn't see anything yesterday. If you remember 24 hours ago, it was just this big white junk of smoke. But things are looking better. They're not going to get worse. They're not going to get better for a couple of days. We'll take that, considering what we had on Sunday and on Monday. So that's a look at our cross camera. Pull back just a little bit, located at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights next to the cross. Camera 2. Kat says, let's pay a visit to, I want to say that's Birch Mountain, way up top, Kat? That's got to be Birch. Oh, okay. That's Cougar Ridge. So that's just above the WUWV-2018 Bridge. You can actually see the intersection there in the lower right-hand corner. Oh, she's going to give it a little bit of a spinny. There we go. Going to take a look-see. So right in the middle of your screen is the WUWV-2018 Bridge and the Sunset Highway interchange within view. You can see Sunny Slope. You can see Omi Gardens. Couldn't do that yesterday. Not a bad view at all from Cougar Ridge on the East Wenatchee Plateau. Camera 3. Kat says, let's see what's happening there. That's Waterville, looking down towards the Wenatchee Valley with Aniat in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. That's obviously Aniat's proximity to the Cougar Creek fire makes that smoke and that haze much more prevalent. Kat's doing a nice little slow pan there. You can see Aniat. And we will have the latest on the Cougar Creek fire when Grant Olson handles the news in just a little bit. As we take a pan heading up towards Chelan, and we see the Columbia River plainly in view there. Again, air is a lot better, not only in Wenatchee, but in Chelan. Wenatchee and Chelan's had some really bad air. Also the Plain area as well has been dealing with some nasty, nasty air quality. Worst air quality anywhere to be found on Sunday and spilling into Monday. But again, there is some good news. Hold tight for that. Camera 4. Where are we going to go take a look-see? We're going to go take a look-see. Is that Nanapoc? That's Nanapoc Ridge up there in the Lake Wenatchee area. And again, they've changed some evacuation notices for those people in the Chumstick area and in the Plain area. We'll get to that when we get to news here in just a couple of minutes. That's not bad. You can see the mountains, and you couldn't do that yesterday either. Now, we still have an air quality alert from the Washington State Department of Ecology. They handle these things. They've extended it until noon on Thursday, but things are going to change. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Let's take you around with our air quality readings. We've been doing this now for the last 10 days or so. That is the state map, the latest from the state map. And you'll notice that Wenatchee and Chelan and Leavenworth and Quincy is red. And that is unhealthy, which is better than dark purple, which was hazardous, and that's what we were dealing with. Here's the latest Wenatchee reading. The ecology station is located at the intersection of 5th and Western in Wenatchee, 178 on the WAQA value. That is still unhealthy, but it sure beats hazardous. It was in the 470s on Sunday afternoon, so that's not bad. It's not going to get worse, and it's not going to get better. It's going to kind of hang around there for the next couple of days until we get to Thursday. Here's Wenatchee's 3-day history, and you'll see that big peak that you see there is when we got up to 457 on the scale. That was late on Sunday afternoon. And if you notice, as we got through Sunday night into Monday afternoon, into Monday evening, and now into Tuesday morning, it's gotten better and better and better, and we like that. Chelan, you're at 181. Let's take a look at yours. There you go. That's on Wooden Avenue in downtown Chelan, just a little bit worse than Wenatchee's, but not much. Again, that is in the unhealthy range. This is Chelan that you're looking at. Chelan's 3-day graph kind of looks a little like Wenatchee's. You notice that it has that big bad peak, excuse me, on Sunday afternoon, leveled off, and then has dramatically gotten better, especially late afternoon into the early evening hours in Chelan. So things are looking pretty darn good. We got a good looking weather forecast for you if you're sick and tired of this smoke. There is your forecast. We're going to look at 87 today. We had 86. No real winds today to speak of. Northwest wind 5 to 9 miles an hour. A haze tonight, smoky, 64 for the overnight low. Hazy and smoky on Wednesday. 89 Wednesday night. We're going to kind of hang around with the smoke and the haze as you see there. Thursday is what we're looking at. A vigorous cold front on Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening is going to bring in some very breezy conditions. It's going to cool down the air and it's going to scour out the skies. That's the good news. The bad news is any fires that are out there could really get going again. There is your Thursday winds. That'll be Thursday late afternoon into the early evening. And you can see the wind direction and the miles per hour. And these are the gusts. These are the peak winds, not the consistent winds. So you'll see if this model holds out, it is going to scour out the skies. And the air is going to be somewhat breathable by the time we get to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Again, if this model holds out, and we're certainly hoping that it will. And we're also hoping we could even get a raindrop or two Sunday and Monday. Wouldn't that be nice? Now, not a big chance. There's about a 20% chance of showers Sunday night spilling into Monday. But boy, we could sure use the rain. I would take a rainy August weekend right about now. No questions asked. I would be very happy with that. So again, air quality alert is still going on. It's set to expire at noon on Thursday. Thursday afternoon, you'll notice those winds will be picking up. They'll be quite windy and quite breezy Thursday night into Friday. You saw the direction and the wind gusts. It's going to blow out the smoke. Get it on out of here. We'd like that. But again, any fires that get going or any fires that are currently burning, including the Cougar Creek fire, could get going again. Hopefully the fire will blow in on itself, which would be the best of all scenarios. The best scenario is rain. Got a little chance of it on Sunday night. 8.5 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a 1-minute break. When we come back, Grant Olson will be handling your Tuesday morning news. And the news will be brought to you by Cascade Medical. Trained with a physical therapist who loves the outdoors as much as you do. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
This is the NCW Life Community Calendar brought to you by LocalTel. Auditions for Holiday Spice are this Thursday at the Numerica Performing Arts Center at 6:30 p.m. Holiday Spice is a Wenatchee Festival of Trees community-based holiday variety show benefiting the PAC. Woodstock Anniversary Concert Fundraiser is this Saturday at Watson's Alpenhorn Cafe in Chelan. Enjoy live music, food, silent auction, and wine at this family-friendly event. For more information, visit ncwlife.com.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Good Tuesday morning. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare, who is on assignment, and here are your morning news headlines. Level 1 evacuations are still in place for residents in the Chumstick Valley as crews battling the Cougar Creek fire prepare for a changing weather pattern. The forecast yesterday and for today calls for winds to come out of the north and northeast, which will push the fire in a westerly direction toward the plain area. The fire is now 35% contained and has grown to just over 38,000 acres of forest land. A community meeting was held last night in Plain. Here's a fire update from Public Information Commander Mike Reichling.
The fire did get up to and push our line right about here yesterday. We have a couple of areas where it's crossed the line. We were able to get water into that and really check much advancement just right off the line. But there are a lot of dead trees, a lot of snags, overhead hazard, and very steep part of the ridge there. So we were working it from the top. Didn't move a lot on us. They continued to work that all night long. That continues to be very active this morning. We have pulled a little bit of fire along our fire edge to stay ahead of this westerly fire growth. Yesterday afternoon and into the evening, we anticipate today that this is going to be one of our main focuses, is maintaining our fire perimeter where we have established line here, and or dropping back if we have to our contingency line a little bit further back down the hill. So this is going to be a big focus for us today. Down in Burgess Cabin, the fire didn't move much, hasn't moved much in several days. We're looking at some options of possibly even getting a little closer to the fire edge with our primary fire line. Burgess Cabin is still fine at this point. Further down on the south end of the fire, from Sugarloaf back over toward Ardenvore, we just continue to mop up, secure, and hold that primary fire edge. That was going well, and we're looking at a contingency line down a little bit further to the south. Not so much worried about this, but worried about if this were to hook around with us as wind conditions change.
Now let's talk air quality. Late Saturday and Sunday, the Wenatchee Valley had the worst air quality of any reporting station in the country. On the air quality index chart, 301 to 500 is hazardous air, and late Sunday afternoon, Wenatchee had an air quality reading of 457, and yesterday our air quality was hovering around the 380 to 390 mark. In our feature story this morning, Doug Reinerston, Director of Respiratory Therapy at Confluence Health, says surprisingly they haven't seen a large upswing in respiratory patients, but adds if you're feeling discomfort or are a chronic illness patient, seek medical treatment.
You start to feel like you're having respiratory problems because of the smoke, get into your provider soon. It's better to get into your provider soon rather than later. When you start feeling the onset, call your provider and see if you can get an appointment and get it taken care of then. Our chronic illness patients, they have those guidelines and they have ways to test their peak flows and such to know when they are starting to deteriorate. So for the chronic patients, make sure that they're paying close attention to that and getting in soon. People without chronic illness, you're probably going to have some discomfort, but when it becomes an issue where you're having a hard time breathing and you can hear yourself wheezing, we're all going to be a little bit congested because our sinuses are filtering out all these large particulates. If you're struggling to breathe, it's time to go in.
Reinertson says when the smoke is this thick, we see a combination of large and small particulates. He also adds that while breathing masks do help protect the lungs from those particulates, in some cases a mask could do more harm than good.
Currently, when it's this hazy, you're seeing larger particulates mixed with the smaller particulates. So it's kind of a combination of both. The smaller particulates are more irritating to the airway because they're able to travel deeper. A mask isn't a solution for all patients with chronic illness. When you have an N95 mask on, it creates more resistance to your breathing. So people with chronic cardiac or respiratory illnesses, it can actually exacerbate their condition by having that mask on. So the best solution is to stay indoors and don't be vacuuming your floors and stuff that'll cause more contaminants within your house.
Reinertson also reminds folks to stay hydrated. He says staying hydrated helps your body and especially your lungs move harmful particulates out of your body. Well, as we said, the thick shroud of suffocating smoke is making for difficult breathing in the Wenatchee Valley. But if you're having a hard time with the foul air, think about your home's heating and air conditioning system. If you haven't replaced your air filter, you could be faced with a hefty repair bill. Patriot Plumbing and Heating co-owner Matt Laverne offers some advice on how you can avoid that.
First off, keep the doors and windows closed. And don't be afraid to run the air conditioning system. We had some information out in the past that maybe people should turn them off, but changing your filters, making sure that your filters are going to be able to be used to extract as much of the contaminants out of the air as possible. And of course there is a right way to put a filter in. So the metal back here, the metal stripping goes against the airflow. So the airflow goes through it here, and that metal piece here does support the air filter in the furnace. So keeping your filters nice and clean and white like this.
Laverne recommends that a 1-inch filter be changed once a month during normal weather conditions. Under extremely smoky conditions like we're seeing now, it should be checked more frequently. Laverne says there's a new product on the market that is designed specifically to filter out smoke.
We have, there's thicker filters, maybe you have one in your home like this, but you'll notice on this side is the white side that's typical to a standard 1-inch filter, but on this side it's treated with carbon. And there's several different brands. Ours is the Lennox brand filter, but this actually does remove the smoke. So this filter is going to make your home a lot fresher inside. It's the only filter actually certified to remove smoke.
It's also advised that portable high-efficiency HEPA air cleaners can supplement the work of the HVAC system by removing those fine particulates. HEPA filters are more expensive and need more frequent replacement. Experts also caution against using non-filtered freestanding fans because they only spread dust and smoke particulates around the room. And that's a look at your Tuesday morning headlines. Please join me later today at 5, 6, and 10 for the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson in for Steve Hare, and until then, have a great day.
Thank you, Grant. We appreciate it. It is 17 minutes after the hour on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 61 degrees, relative humidity at 54%. Right now, the air quality is unhealthy, but sure beats hazardous. And if you're just joining us, a rather powerful cold front is going to sweep into the Wenatchee Valley and all of north central Washington late Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. And the winds should be strong enough and at the right elevation to scour out the skies. And the forecast for the weekend looks sunny. Keep your fingers crossed. 17 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and Eric Granstrom's conversation with Joel Norman, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Apple Sox. It's a busy Tuesday. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
And we are back at 19 minutes after the hour. I'm Dan Kuntz. Let's take a look at sports. Robinson Cano's 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning lifted the Mariners to a big 7-4 win over the Astros last night at Smoky Safeco Field. Cano 3 for 5 in the game. He had 2 doubles as well. Since he got back in the lineup after serving that 80-game suspension, Cano was hitting .346, and he just tied Ken Griffey Jr. at number 46 on the career doubles list with number 324. Manager Scott Service was ejected for protecting Dee Gordon in the 8th inning. Dee Gordon was arguing with the home plate umpire. You're not supposed to do that. But Scott Service said his guys were due for a game like this.
Welcome back, Robbie Cano. He was talented, very talented player. He's due for one of those nights. They hit a ball out opposite field tonight, or in the left center there, hit it the other way. Ball wasn't going anywhere. He really smoked it. So, outstanding effort offensively tonight. I think, where Felix was at, I thought, just watching him the last 3 innings he was out there, his stuff was much different. I think he made a little mechanical adjustment as the game went on. Seemed like the ball had a little more life on it. He was finishing, he was throwing strikes, he was locating the fastball. It was great to see. You know, we're going to need that from him as we go forward.
Yeah, Felix Hernandez had a pretty good night. He went 6 innings, he allowed 4 runs, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts. He retired 12 of the final 13 batters that he faced. Scott Service talked at length with Felix about that after last night's game.
For me, it was a marked difference the last 3 innings. And, you know, the conversation was back and forth about, you know, do you know what you did? Did you feel it? You know, the player's got to have a feeling for what it was. And, you know, he had a pretty good idea. What was the difference? He just said, I was able to locate my fastball. For me, the finish on his pitches, the extension down the mound, controlling his body over the rubber longer and getting the arm out front, it was a noticeable difference, which was great. You know, he was able to locate the fastball. It wasn't like his off-speed pitch was dazzling anybody tonight, the curve or the changeup, but the location of the fastball, you know, and we saw it consistently, you know, in the low 90s tonight.
Mitch Haniger, Gene Segura, Ben Gamble, Dee Gordon all had 2 hit nights, and the Mariners closed the gap in the American League West to 3.5 games. Seattle and Houston will do battle again tonight, 7:10. Mike Leake will toe the rubber for the M's, and the Astros will go with Brad Peacock. Let's take a look at the Les Schwab scoreboard, see how the Oakland A's did last night, and, well, they won. Ramon Laureano had 2 of Oakland's 4 home runs. The A's knocked over Texas 9-zip. Oakland's win, Houston's loss to Seattle. That puts the A's and the Astros into a tie for first place in the American League West. Well, the Seahawks have released veteran punter John Ryan. Actually, Ryan broke the news before the team did yesterday via his Twitter account. Ryan's release ends a memorable 10 seasons for a player who became a franchise record holder and a fan favorite. In his tweet, Ryan said, you'll see it right there, it's been an absolute honor and privilege to play in this great city of Seattle for the past 10 years. I never wanted this day to come, but I knew it would someday. Even though I'm leaving, I will always be a Seahawk, end quote. Ryan went on to talk about his appearance in the Seahawks Super Bowl victory, as well as throwing a touchdown pass in the NFC Championship. He leaves Seattle as the franchise leader in punts average, net average, and punts downed inside the 20. He summed it up by saying, and I'm quoting again, I want to thank the 12s. You embraced a pale-skinned, red-headed Canadian with a speech impediment and made him feel like a superstar. I will forever be grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you, Seattle. End quote. By the way, Ryan's departure means that rookie Michael Dixon, I should say, he's the only punter left on the Seahawks roster. And the Washington Huskies are ranked number 6 in the Associated Press preseason top 25 college football poll. That's their highest preseason ranking since 1997, when they opened the season ranked number 4. Huskies will open, of course, on Saturday, September 1st, Labor Day weekend, as they take on the Auburn Tigers in Georgia. The last time a Washington team opened a season as a top 10 against a top 10, way back in 1962, the number 10 Huskies took on number 7 Purdue. That game ended in a 7-7 tie. They don't have ties in college football anymore. I'm glad about that. 23 minutes after the hour, the obscure holiday of the day today. Happy National Senior Citizens Day. Way back on August of 1988, President Ronald Reagan issued Proclamation 5847 establishing National Senior Citizens Day to be celebrated every August 21st. So if you are a senior citizen, this is your day. Do whatever you want to. By the way, I already looked online. There are a lot of specials and discounts with businesses and restaurants all over North Central Washington. Lots of special offers for you senior citizens today. So go out and take advantage of it and enjoy your day. It is National Senior Citizens Day today, courtesy of President Ronald Reagan. 24 minutes after the hour, today in history. Very rarely does a tornado spark a medical revolution, but it happened 135 years ago on this date, August 21st, 1883. An F5 tornado struck Rochester, Minnesota. 37 people died, over 200 people were injured. There weren't very many hospitals in Minnesota back in 1883. In fact, they were all located in the Twin Cities. Dr. William Mayo and his 2 sons, William and Charles, helped out best that they could with the injured and the sick. Mother Mary Alfred Moses of the Sisters of St. Francis helped as well. And then after the tragedy was over, the mother got together with William Mayo and said, we probably should need a hospital in Rochester. So they banded together. They founded the St. Mary's Hospital, which in turn led to the creation of the Mayo Clinic, one of the finest medical facilities to be found anywhere in the world. And it was all because of a tornado. That happened on this date 135 years ago. August 21st, 1911. The Mona Lisa used to be there. They showed up to work, and the Mona Lisa's gone. Yeah, the Mona Lisa was stolen on this date, on August 21st, 1911. He was a guy who worked at the museum at the Louvre. Vincenzo Perugino stole the Mona Lisa, kept it under his bed in his apartment for 2 years. Of course, it hung in Paris, but it was painted by an Italian, and he wanted the Mona Lisa returned to Italy. So he did the dumbest thing he could think of. He tried to sell it to a museum in Italy. If you're going to steal the Mona Lisa, don't try to sell it. You'll probably get caught. He was caught, and now the Mona Lisa is back where it belongs. And finally, happy birthday, Hawaii! Hawaii is 59 years old today. That's the Hawaiian state flag. U.S. President Dwight David Eisenhower signed the executive order proclaiming Hawaii as the 50th state of the Union. It is Hawaiian Emission Day today all over Hawaii. 2 fun facts about Hawaii that you may not know about. Hawaii grows about 46 acres each year because the Kilauea volcano has been erupting for the last 35 years, pretty much nonstop, and so it erupts, the lava goes, it goes into the Pacific Ocean, and Hawaii keeps getting bigger by about 42 acres each year because of the volcano. And there's a state law in Hawaii, and if you've been to Hawaii, you'll notice that billboards are banned. You will not see a single billboard on any of the Hawaiian Islands. Happy 50th birthday, Hawaii. And at 27 minutes after the hour, let's do some birthdays for you. The man who brought rhythm to jazz, one of the greats, Count Basie, was born in the state in 1904. Pianist, composer, bandleader. Boy, his groups could swing. All of them were good all the way to the very end. Count Basie lived 79 very good years, died in 1984. The legend, Count Basie. I listened to some Count Basie last night. Guy's good. His band could really rock. One of the greatest and most dominant players in NBA history, Wilt Chamberlain, was born in the state in 1936, passed away at the age of 63 in 1999. How many players in NBA history averaged 30 points and 20 rebounds a game in a season? Only one, Wilt Chamberlain, and he did it 7 times. Wilt Chamberlain, one of the greatest and most dominant players in NBA history, was born in the state. Kenny Rogers. I met Kenny. He played the Town Toyota Center not long ago. You painted up your lips and rolled and curled your tinted hair. Kenny Rogers is 80 years old today. Fun fact about Kenny Rogers, he has absolutely no idea when to hold him and when to fold him. He's a terrible poker player. James Burton, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, class of 2001, is 79 years old today. You may not have heard of James Burton, but you've heard James Burton, one of the most versatile guitarists of all time. He led Rick Nelson's band back in the 1950s and 60s, and he hooked up with a gentleman named Elvis Presley. Elvis said, I need a guitarist who can play everything, and James Burton says, I can play everything. The guy is an incredible axeman, James Burton, 79 years old today. And Usain Bolt, the Jamaican sprinter, 32 years old today, the only sprinter to win the Olympic 100 meters and 200 meter titles at 3 consecutive Olympics in Beijing, in London, and in Buenos Aires. The guy's good. He's also 32 years old, and he can run. He can run faster than I can drive. That guy is good. 28 minutes after the hour. Hey, if you know somebody who's celebrating a birthday, a local celebrity, give them to me. Go to our Facebook page, NCW Life's Facebook page, and private message us, and we'll do our very best to get your birthday on the air, all right? Going to take a break. When we come back, everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and then Eric Granstrom's conversation with Joel Norman, talking baseball, the Apple Sox season. We'll put a bow on it. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Chamberlain here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Make your dream of building your own home a reality today. Bay Equity Home Loans has teamed up with Real Homes to make building your new home a smooth process. Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee offers new construction loans, FHA 3.5% down, and VA 100% construction loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
Hi everyone, Brent. Hey, don't mind, we're just making a commercial here, Randall. You're okay. Hi everyone, Brent here. Jeez. You're gonna love this. When you see this, come down and see us behind Nissan. I can do it. I can do it. The all-new 2018 Nissan. That's done, I'm done. We can't do it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee. Better performance, better.
Looking for a hands-on, high-demand job? Now is the perfect time to get trained for a career in manufacturing. Washington currently has a shortage of skilled tradespeople, and retirements are making room for more. The machining program at Wenatchee Valley College is designed to give students the foundation to excel in this precision industry. Don't wait, there are only 15 spots left. A 2-year degree and a 1-year certificate are available. Learn more at wvc.edu/machining.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
For plumbing, heating, or cooling repair, Patriot will be right there.
Is your inefficient home comfort system wasting money? This Lennox dealer can help.
Save money on your energy bills with an efficient Lennox system from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call Patriot today.
Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling will give your home a hug.
Get up to $1,500 in rebates or special financing.
Walk and Roll Wenatchee's Asian Express is fast, fresh food. Wenatchee Roll's new Poke Hawaiian Fresh Salad Bar is the best. Fresh greens, fresh seafood, and handmade sauces. You know what you want. At Walk and Roll, create your own style meal. Hot off the line chicken, beef, and veggie plates. Lunch or dinner to match your appetite. Fresh sushi, hot entrees, Poke Fresh Salad Bar. It's new. It's Walk and Roll Wenatchee, fast, fresh food your way. Located on 5th and Mission.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McKnight, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, retail businesses, if you're not doing too well, here's a tip. I believe the concept of retail is that a business wants people to come into said business and exchange their money that they have in their pockets for the merchandise the business has on its shelves. Okay, fine. But there's an important part. This exchange occurs at something called a checkout stand or a cash register. Now, this is the point, right? A customer takes your stuff and gives you money. Now, wouldn't it therefore make a whole lot of sense to actually have sufficient people, sufficient number of employees at this place where this exchange is supposed to take place so the potential transactions can actually occur? Doesn't that make sense? Don't you wish that these transactions could occur within a reasonable period of time? I mean, come on, in my limited perspective, that's what I think is a good idea. Now maybe consider it. Have people at your check stands. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Lake Chelan Mailboxes is a small place with a lot to offer. Job one is shipping and receiving from A to Z. They pack it, they label it, they ship it. But did you know we also offer notary service, online computer access, legal forms, copies, greeting cards, and of course, mailboxes. Chelan Mailboxes, everything you need in one small package.
You don't want to see this happen. It's the oil light on your car. Oil is the lube of life for your car's engine. At Alignment Pros and Express Lube, they pour the best oil your car deserves. Expect fast, friendly, superior service in a clean environment. They'll change your oil and perform a 21-point inspection while you enjoy the comfort of their amazing waiting room. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat, poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Eric Grandstrom here on the NCW Life Channel. Hope you're having a good morning as we celebrate the baseball season coming to its final horn, their final conclusion, with the Seattle Mariners hopefully getting a chance to get into the playoffs. We just had the Wenatchee Apple Sox season conclude, and to help us kind of put a bow on things, we've got the voice of the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Joel Norman is here. Joel, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, good to see you. I wish it had been a little bit later in the season and gone a little bit further, but hey, it's good to be here nonetheless.
So let's talk about, first of all, before we get into this season for the Apple Sox, let's talk about you and how you came to come to Wenatchee, because this is a long way from home, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I just graduated from West Virginia University in May, so it was a little odd going across the country to start my first job, but one of the things I was told early on, if I wanted to be a broadcaster, was, you've got to be willing to travel and go wherever you need, and just so I happened to end up in Wenatchee.
What did you know, or how did you even find out about the Wenatchee Apple Sox?
Boy, I applied to about 30 or 40 different jobs across the country, and I think the Apple Sox were the first ones to get back to me. So I said, well, I like you guys the most, and if you've got, you're that concerned, you want to get back to me. So I was excited when I got the call from Jim Corcoran, and then shortly after was hired. So it was pretty cool, and I'm really glad to be here. I love the area.
They announced your hiring, I think it was during the winter time, or it was really early.
It was in March.
Okay, so just springtime. Tell me about that transition from back east, coming out west. Had you been to Washington before?
Oh, no. I had never been further west than Oklahoma before, so it was a heck of a change. I've been surprised how warm it is up this far north, but it's been great out here. I love the area. A lot of great people. And when I tell people, though, you talk about the transition, I think it was exactly a week after my graduation date. We packed up the car and did 5 days of driving, my dad and I out here. I kept the car, he flew back.
So, baseball, what's your sport that you enjoy the most? Is it baseball, or is it, because I know when you go through school, it's like, okay, I'm going to do anything I can to be in the world of sports?
I think my favorite sport to call has always been baseball. I love following the sport because it's every day. There's a new game every day, and you don't have to wait until Sunday like football. You don't have to wait a couple days like basketball and hockey. I've always liked that. I think my favorite to always play has been basketball, though. But baseball, easily my favorite to call and follow.
Now, why did you get into broadcasting, and how did it end up that you're in radio?
Well, I think early enough on, I realized I didn't have the talent to make it in sports. So, I'd like to still get to those events however possible, without having to pay over the years. So I figured, hey, maybe I can get into broadcasting. I'll try that out. And I always noticed at a younger age, I sort of paid more attention to the way broadcasters sounded than I even did the players and such. I could watch a game based on who was calling it more so than a matchup. Okay. So, when I was younger, I really liked guys like Bob Costas, Marv Albert in particular. Those two are probably my favorite broadcasters.
Okay. So did you sit in your room at home and watch games and turn the sound down and do your own play-by-play?
I never did that. That's what a lot of celebrities always say they ended up doing later on. But I would always just kind of do it in my head. Usually I was watching it with my dad, so I didn't want to be annoying.
So the different scope for you coming and doing Apple Sox baseball for a summer, and we'll talk about how it's becoming more than just a summer job for you. That was big for Jim Corcoran because he's gone with nothing but Cougars. Out of Washington State. So something from you must have triggered his interest.
I hope so. I really liked talking with Jim when I had the interview back, and I think it was early March or so. It was just really fun talking to him, I could sense the enthusiasm that he had for the team, that Ken Osborne had for the team, and it was an organization I was like, well, this is summer college baseball, but it seems like they're really enthusiastic and strive for something a little bit more than other teams at that level strive for. So for that reason, I was pretty excited excited. And plus, it would have been my first job out of college. That alone was pretty exciting to me, and I just wanted to find a place I could say I can be here and I can make a difference.
So they announced you in March. When did you actually physically come out here to Wenatchee?
I got out here, I think, maybe 2 weeks before the season started.
Okay.
So it was middle of May. I think I got here on the 19th or the 20th.
Okay.
So
you get here and find out the guy who hired you is selling the team.
actually, that was the day I came in, they sold the team. And I was like, I still have a job, right? You know, I really was worried for a little bit, but thank goodness. Jose Oglesby has been great for the organization. I always say he's got this boyish enthusiasm for baseball that I wish every owner in the West Coast League had, because he comes to the park every day and he'll sit down, he'll watch the games. He'll start a lot of the cheers, and I love that. I think anyone who works for him will say the same. It's just, you love seeing someone with that kind of enthusiasm for baseball.
So an advantage for you, unlike when I did the games, I was a lot older than the guys were playing. You're almost same age as a lot of the guys that are playing. So how does that help you as a broadcaster?
I don't know if it doesn't. In some ways it can. Maybe I can relate when I'm asking them certain questions, like for interviews or when I'm talking with them off air. Because I'll tell them all the times, you know, I had one day I was joking, I think it was with Jacob Prater and Mason Marenko, just about student debts. So that's something we can relate to, you know, little stuff like that. But it's little stuff, you know, just kind of understanding, hey, you know, I was just out of college too. I remember these kind of things. And it's funny, I think I joked with one of the players one time. I said, would you like to be my intern next year? He said, no, I've interned with the team the last 2 years, as in staying with the team, it's unpaid summer work. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I felt like in the same way, I'm kind of grinding to get to the next level in the same way they are. Of course, it's a lot tougher for those guys, but in that sense, it was really neat trying to relate to them in that way.
I was telling Joel before we started the interview today that I got a chance to listen to him at the start of the season and as it progressed throughout the season. Of course, we had your play-by-play and a lot of our highlights that we ran here on the NCW Life channel with the video that thankfully Jose was able to get going through Facebook and stuff, so we were able to share that. And I definitely heard you improve as the season progressed. Of course, I'm just an old hack at this stuff. So how did you feel the season went for you as a broadcaster?
I did feel like over time I got more and more. I got a little better with each game. I remember the first game of the year against Victoria. I wasn't too nervous in the weeks leading up to it, but I remember I think I sat down in the booth and I went, oh boy, here we go. Like, this is game one. This is the first time in a few years. I don't know, I've never seen anyone who was in the game ever play before. Took me back to when I first started broadcasting in college, and it's like, you don't know how much to do, but it's kind of one of those things as with baseball. Once you get the first pitch out of the way, it kind of keeps going. And then the nice thing about baseball is you can refer back to previous at-bats to help fill time. So it was neat. And that's the nice thing is there's a game every single day. So if you had a bad broadcast, the one day or in your head you're like, oh, I flubbed that call. You focus on it, you know, go back through Facebook Live. I'd go and rewatch and listen back to how I called certain moments, and then I could prepare for it again the next day. And I felt in that sense I was able to improve because of that.
Good. I'm glad you listened to yourself. And that's one thing that people ask me because I did the first, 4 or 5 seasons of the Apple Sox when they started back in 2000. They asked me coming into the game, the first game, so what's your home run call? And I said, I have no idea. I'm not scripting that out. It's kind of when it happens, it happens. It ended up happening in the first game, and it was just a see ya. See ya. You know, that was it. And but so, how much of that did you think about going into your broadcast, or how much of that had you already developed going through college and calling games before?
I never had calls. I said I'm going to do this call in a certain moment, because I feel like if you script out how you prepare for a moment, your reaction isn't genuine.
Right.
So I wanted to say, you know, I didn't want a home run call. I kind of said, I'll do whatever I do. You know, maybe it'll be repetitive, but at the same time, I want my reaction to be genuine when someone barely pokes one over or really skies a home run over the fence. I want it to be something that's just me reacting, going, you know, okay, that was maybe a cheap shot aided by the wind, or wow, he really killed that one. So I didn't want to just come in and have like one certain thing I always said, because a lot of broadcasters do have that, and they've done a good job of showing the enthusiasm. But my thing was this early on, I think I needed to be just worried about my reaction in the moment, rather than having something that catches along with fans.
Yeah, and that's something I've told broadcasters or broadcaster wannabes forever. The best thing you can be is you. Don't try to be contrived, don't try to be scripted, because it'll show through in your broadcast. So just be you and just let it happen, and then the rest will take care of itself. Highlights for you this year. I mean, one of them has to be that amazing over-the-fence catch in Portland against the Pickles.
That was incredible. That was Sam Waterman, a guy who I think he's going to be an incoming freshman with the Yakima Valley. We just had him for a couple days over the weekend because of that doubleheader in there. I mean, that whole weekend in Portland was crazy. 3 straight days of rainouts, and then a doubleheader on Monday. Then you hit the road immediately to go to Corvallis. That was a heck of a road trip. Thank goodness it was our longest one of the season. I don't know if we could have done another one like that. But anyway, that was great. And I remember we tried to get that on a Sports Center. And we just about nearly did, but I forget what happened. I think it was the video quality wasn't quite strong enough. That was one of my favorite ones. Corey Myers' 2 Grand Slam night. How many times?
And having that happen at home.
Yeah, that was great. I think a lot of fans really appreciate and were realizing what they were seeing, especially because how many times are you ever going to see that happen? A couple weeks ago, I think we had the 3 straight home runs.
Back to back.
Yeah, on a span of 6 pitches too.
Yeah.
That's another one. When do you see that happen? That's what I love about baseball is you never know what you're going to see when you come to the ballpark. You might see a no-hitter. You might see a couple grand slams. You might see 3 consecutive home runs. Who knows? But that's what's so neat is every game has its own different little story they tell. Some a little more memorable than others, but that's why you buy the ticket and you go each day.
Yeah, that's something that I've talked about with my passion for sports is you talk about reality TV, you cannot get any more reality TV than watching sports because you don't know what is going to happen next. The elephant in the room towards the end of the season was the West Coast League and how they run things and how they figure out who's going to be in the playoffs. And that was frustrating for me as a fan as well as a guy who's trying to describe to our viewers what's happening with the team because here they make this great run to the end of the season. They're playing the best baseball just at the perfect time you want them to be playing their best baseball, and then they are not included in the postseason. What happened?
It was really confusing. It was a weekly, every single day for a week. It was me and the coaching staff discussing what are our playoff clinching scenarios. And I think we thought we had figured it out, but then the league posted an article on their website, I think on the Friday of it would have been Monday of the final series of the season. And they said, there could be a 4-way tie for second, and if so, the Apple Sox would win that. However, apparently they edited that article later in the same day because they confused their own playoff rules. And then they said, oh, actually, we made a mistake. But they never publicly said anything. So we approached that series against Kelowna a different way. I think that was some of the frustration with the coaching staff. They said, well, if we had known this was the case, because no one noticed that edit to the article. So that's an easy thing that just flies under the radar, right? So that was something that kind of frustrated us. And the next day we see an article saying, nothing about the Apple Sox can make the playoffs. And we said, wait a second, we won a game, we lost 1 game, but now we're out. You said before, a few days ago, we just needed 2 of 3.
And behind the scenes, I'm emailing Joel going, wait a minute, Joel, I'm looking at the playoff scenario the league has given us, and according to my math, we're still available to, coming down to the final game to get in, but the league says, no, Kelowna or Victoria, one or the two, nobody else. And, no matter what happens with Kelowna, if Victoria loses, then Kelowna's in.
Absolutely.
And it was just confusing.
It was.
Are you hearing anything from the league about maybe clearing that up a little bit or maybe going away from the 2 half winners? Because I think that's what confuses the issue.
I think they like the format, and I understand why they do. I have my own personal disagreements with it. I think a lot of ways it's great. And it was meant for teams like the Apple Sox, who struggled in the first half and then got hot late in the second half. But at the same time, if there's confusion with the people making the rules, then I question whether or not these are the types of playoff format we should be using. And I understand, people make mistakes in articles. We've all done it at one point or another. I think the thing that frustrated us, and I said this to our head coach, Kyle Crustangel, I was saying that if there are mistakes, why don't they just say, why didn't they have a public notice on like Twitter or Facebook saying, correction, we actually meant this. And that's PR 101, isn't that? But I'm not sure. That was what frustrated me along those lines. But at the same time, let's give credit to the teams who got it. I mean, Kelowna clearly showed they belong, knocking off Bellingham, especially winning that Game 3 on the road. So we're not faulting any of the other teams. They did an incredible job, a lot of great work this season. Victoria had a late push as well, so no faulting them at all. But we were just frustrated with the confusion with the playoff rules. And this was a problem last year as well, before I was even here. And I've heard plenty of stories about that. And I mean, I've got a lot of thoughts, and I voiced on my broadcast, but I didn't want to be too much. But if there's confusion, let's clarify it as best as possible and prepare for every situation instead of going in and assuming that everything is covered.
Well, it's kind of like talking about the Mariners, for example. You win a few more games in April. It matters come talking about playoffs in October. Had the Apple Sox played a little bit better in a few games and not had given things up late in some of those games, well, then that whole discussion would have been taken care of.
No, I think you're absolutely right. There was a couple sweeps we probably could have had. Port Angeles and Bend, they really stick out. Even though the Apple Sox were playing red hot during that stretch, those are a couple games where you think that's a lesser opponent probably should have taken care of business. Hindsight is 20/20, though. You know, but you're right. At the same time, though, there were a couple of series along the way where I think the Sox could have taken a couple more games, but baseball's a game of inches, a game of half games and such. But they gave it a great push late, and to even be in playoff contention in the final weekend, when in the middle of July we would have thought that was a dream or a hallucination. So it was incredible for the team to be where they were.
We're talking with Joel Norman, the voice of the Wenatchee Apple Sox, here on the NCW Life Channel's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Joel, who impressed you the most during the season? Who maybe was most improved in your eyes as you watched? You had the front row seat for every game.
That's right, every single pitch. There was a lot of good players who came to the team. I really liked watching Connor McCord in particular. He really improved as a hitter. He wasn't playing much last season with the team, and he was just a consistent middle-of-the-order bat for the team all year. And an on-base machine. I mean, whether he was getting hits or not, he was drawing walks. It was just about, I don't think he had back-to-back games in which he didn't get on base one way or another, which is incredible. And you want that out of a guy in the middle of the order, just to help get on and create some opportunities. I really liked watching Johnny Sage as well. I thought he had the best eye of any batter on the team because he could just foul away pitches that he didn't quite like. And you don't see that from a lot of guys at the college level. So that really impressed me. We had a reliever early in the year, Troy Stainbrook. He left in, I think it was the beginning of July. I think he played a couple games in July, but well, he was lights out. He was incredible, the way he had his fastball and his breaking ball going. But there was a lot of really talented players who played for the team this year who, some of them, as they come and go, you might not see them out much, but like you said, someone like me, you've got to watch all season. It was really fun just watching some of these guys go out there, compete, and you could just tell they had a hunger for something more.
Mm-hmm. Of the league, of the players you saw in the league, you get a chance to see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think, is there any name that pops out? It's like, this guy's going to make the next level. We're going to see this guy playing for a major league team someday.
Boy, a lot of guys on Bellingham, I would say, because they just, this is something the coaching staff would always say, they just had arms for days. They could just pump out one reliever, and you see another one, he's got about the same stuff, and you're like, wait a second, didn't we just see this guy or someone like him? They had some great arms out there. They had this one guy, he's a catcher, but really DH slot, Matt James. He played at Notre Dame. Left there, is going to play at Yakima Valley College. So what a heck of a drop-off, but he wanted to be able to play immediately and then try to get back to the D1 level. We played Bellingham 6 days in a row. He homered in 4 of those 6 games.
Yeah.
And it was just some of those nights back-to-back. Yeah. Bellingham had another guy, second baseman, Matt McClain, drafted in the first round, was going to either go to the Arizona Diamondbacks or play at UCLA. Chose to skip on the money. He's going to play at UCLA. He was a really talented player as well.
Well, and you talk about the one guy that the skipper for the Apple Sox knows very well with him coaching down at Yakima Valley, and I'm sure happy to have that guy come in. Kyle Crustangel now, second year in the books, missed the playoffs both years basically by a game.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like your relationship with him as the season grew, and how did you see him as a manager?
Kyle's a great guy. He was really fun to work with. He was always really good at giving his time. From the beginning of the year, we established, even before he barely even knew me, I said, hey, I want to have a coach on post-game, every game, and he made that work so I could do a quick interview. He was great. They always did a great job, and whenever I wanted to talk on air or off the air about the team, great with his availability. I like the way he managed. He kind of mixes a little bit of new school and old school. He does a little bit of shifting, but he doesn't do the full-out shifting you might see in MLB. So it's an interesting approach. One thing we would always argue about was bunting. I'm a big anti-bunting person. Really don't like them. But he was big on telling me sometimes, he said, we're playing for one run here, so I'll sacrifice an out to move that runner in scoring position. So we wouldn't always agree on everything, but we had a lot of good baseball talks, which at the end of the day, I'd rather have that, because I'm not the one making the decision, so I'll go with his call.
And I know Jose has his theories on bunting as well. So.
Yes, he does.
So what's the future for you? You're going to be back again next summer for Apple Sox baseball?
Yep, that's the plan. Staying in town as well, working with the Apple Sox, selling some sponsorships, hoping to bring back some of the great sponsors we have. We're always looking for new ones too, so it's exciting. It's a neat time because during the season I joke with people. I see everything happening, but I don't meet most of the people involved. So I'm really looking forward this offseason to getting to know some of the other people that really help, that are a big part of Wenatchee Apple Sox baseball. And I think this position will really help me to do that.
We're also going to hear you on the radio around the Valley and around North Central Washington this fall too?
Yeah, that's right. I'll be helping call some Brewster's football games on Cozy FM. I'm really looking forward to doing that with Carl Word. it should be a neat broadcast. We'll have a two-man crew there, and it's been a while. I spent all summer doing games on my own, so I'm really looking forward to have someone else to do games with.
Yeah, I came to a few games with my wife, and I said, I should just pop up to the box and see Joel for a minute. And she's like, well, you should. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to bother him because
hey, you're always welcome. You're always welcome next summer if you want to.
Well, it's good to meet you. Congratulations on season 1, and here's hoping we have many summers to come with Joel Norman as the voice of the Applesauce.
Thanks, Eric. Really appreciate it.
You bet. That's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll come back with more right after this.
I am Dan Coots. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday, today in history, and birthdays. Those actresses from the 70s that I had a huge crush on: Lindsay Wagner, Jane Russell, Meryl Streep, Barbara Bush. Wanted to wish her a happy birthday. It gave me an excuse to throw her picture up on my show. Exclusive distributors of Life Water, now available in the shatterproof plastic bottle.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, mornings at 7 o'clock on the NCW Life Channel.
Time to tackle those lawn and garden projects? Here at Rose Tractor, we're your family-owned and operated Cub Cadet dealer, selling utility vehicles, zero-turn mowers, riding mowers, walk-behind mowers, and even tillers. Unlike the big box stores, we service what we sell, and our customer service is second to none. We give preferred rates and priority service to customers who purchase equipment from Rose. Rose Tractor, your Cub Cadet dealer at the corner of 3rd and Rock Island Road in East Wenatchee.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.
Do you have a fun or interesting video you'd like to see featured here on the NCW Life channel? It's easy. All you have to do is send us an email at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
The NCW Life Channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station.
And welcome back. We got about 3 minutes left in this program. Let's wrap up this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with where we began just about an hour ago or so ago, and that is the air quality. Things are looking better than it was yesterday at this time. There's your state map, and you see the red dot right in the middle of your screen, or close to it. That is Wenatchee, of course. You can see Chelan is in the red, Leavenworth is in the red, Quincy is in the red. Red means unhealthy, so it's not too good, but it's a heck of a lot better than hazardous, which is what we were dealing with on Sunday and again on Monday. In fact, the Wenatchee reading right now at 178 on the WUWV value isn't too bad. I mean, it's all things relative. When you're, getting up there at the 450, 475 level, which is basically the equivalent of sticking your face in the chimney, that's a little bit better than we've seen in quite some time. So things have leveled off. It's not going to get any better, but it's not going to get any worse, according to the Department of Ecology. That's Wenatchee's reading. Let's head on up to Chelan. Chelan just a little bit worse, 181 on the WAQA value. That is also unhealthy. So here's the situation. This is what we're looking at right now. We got some relief coming our way. According to the National Weather Service, a cold front on Thursday, basically Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, and there you go. That's a perfect graphic to show you what we're in for. Look at those winds. Now that's the peak winds. You're going to have gusts in the Wenatchee Valley, in the plain area. Wenatchee 28 plain about 17 miles an hour. And that is going to scour out the sky. So it's going to be cooler air. It's going to be cleaner air if the current weather models hold up. And that's exactly what we want to see, at least if we want to scour out the skies. Now, obviously, any kind of fire starts would be somewhat dangerous. And of course, we're keeping a very close eye on the Cougar Creek fire. But if these winds, the direction and the speed of these winds hold true on Thursday afternoon and Thursday night, that should mean that the fire will probably blow itself back in to areas that have already burned. The Cougar Creek fire is still only 35% contained, but they've been making some really, really good progress. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Your forecast for the Wenatchee Valley looks like this. It's still going to be hazy. It's still going to be smoky. We still have the air quality alert until noon on Thursday, 87. Our forecast high today. Very little wind Today, tonight, Wednesday night into Thursday. The wind will start picking up in intensity Thursday afternoon, and that's when we're going to start seeing the change. And right now, for Friday, we're looking at sunshine, folks, and no haze and no smoke, with a high of about 81 degrees on both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there is some relief in sight. Keep your fingers crossed that this is exactly how things are going to pan out. Everybody have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.